What is a research card maker? Through scientific research on cards, challenge the limits of the world and create the impossible. However, as Chen Ming became a research card maker, the entire research field gradually took on his shape. Keywords of the novel. Research card maker. No pop-ups. Download the complete collection of Research Card Maker TXT, and read the latest chapter of Research Card Maker. Chapter 1. Card Making Guide. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Card Making Guide. Star City. Card Making College. Teacher Wang looked at the boy across from him and said, "Chen Ming, we will have a defense next week. Where is your graduation thesis?" "Sorry." Chen Ming felt embarrassed. "I'll finish it quickly." "Soon." Teacher Wang angrily threw the book on the table and said, "Chen Ming, I've been telling you time and time again to study hard and lay a solid foundation. What about you? You don't work hard all day long. There are a total of 6 subjects in our card making and research and development major, and you failed 3 of them. That's all for now. Now this graduation project is related to your graduation. The whole class has shown me, only you haven't finished it yet." Teacher Wang is very disappointed. He just wanted to make the last effort to help these children pass the exam and graduate smoothly, but as a result, the worse their grades were, the less they cared. "I'm sorry." Chen Mingqing sincerely apologizes. "You." Teacher Wang looked at his refusal to let in oil and salt, and suddenly felt like a deflated balloon, losing the strength to scold. "Go ahead. I don't like teachers, but at least I have to take responsibility for myself." For a long time, Chen Ming returned to the dormitory. This is an ordinary university single room, with brand new textbooks, toilet paper, all standard for college students, and a stack of pure white cards on the desk. This is a blank card, the foundation for drawing cards. This world is mysterious, filled with energy particles, and all living beings can absorb energy for their own use. However, due to the explosive power of energy, people have to choose a carrier to withstand its tremendous power. The carrier of demon beasts is their powerful bloodline bodies. And the carrier of humanity is cards. People encapsulate the burst of energy in card frames, which can be used simply by activating them. Just like gunpowder. You can grab a handful directly on your hand and hurt yourself. But if gunpowder is packaged in a carrier, it will become a powerful weapon. This is the meaning of the existence of cards. In this world, cards themselves are the most powerful weapons. Through high-intensity cultivation, the presence that matches the body with the card and maximizes the power of the card is called an armed person. And the existence that can encapsulate powerful energy in the card architecture is the card maker. Chen Ming is a card maker. At this moment, he sat in front of the desk. Buzzing, the energy in his right hand condensed, shimmering with a faint light. He slowly condensed a card-making pen in his hand, and the pure energy condensed pen tip shimmered with a faint light. According to the card-making guide, there are a total of 3 steps for card making. Step 1. Consolidate the business card printing pen. Step 2. Draw patterns. Step 3. Encapsulate the signature. But in Chen Ming's view, if these 3 steps are broken down in terms of difficulty, they can be understood as opening the refrigerator, putting an elephant in the refrigerator, and closing the refrigerator. Condensed business card printing pen, isn't it enough to have energy? Encapsulation signature, isn't that the final encryption and packaging? This is for card sales service, it's the same whether you want it or not. If you have money, you can even outsource it and have someone else package it. Only the second step of drawing patterns is the core of the core, which is the foundation of a business card maker. Brush. Chen Ming raised his pen and carefully drew the first stroke. Hiss, with a stroke, a standard energy pattern appeared on the blank card, as well as long tear marks on both sides of the pattern. A blank card was destroyed like this. It's like this again. Chen Ming frowned. Since crossing here a month ago, he has not drawn any cards. He was originally a small business tycoon who dominated the stock market. After filling his position with virtual coins from Soha, he lost everything and ultimately jumped down from the Magic City building. Unexpectedly, I traveled here. He thought he would graduate smoothly, become a part of this world, and find a good partner in the future, even a cat-ear girl however. What he didn't expect was that he couldn't make cards himself. 3 consecutive subjects in the final exam. He studied for a whole month, but still couldn't find the problem. Spiritual power. Qualified. He specifically conducted a test, and now he is a 1-star card maker with a mental strength index of about 56 percentage points, at an average level. Card making level. Qualified. The drawing of patterns becomes more difficult as you move back, and the number of patterns drawn on a card represents the level of card making. He conducted tests and without considering the tearing effect, he can draw up to 15 strokes, which is at the average level of a 1-star card maker. So, why can't I make a card? I don't know, we need to change our mindset. Chen Ming thought for a moment and realized that the scientific methods were exhausted, so he could only try metaphysics. Just like drawing cards. Metaphysics will always produce miracles. So, he browsed through various technical forums and online communities, and finally found a seemingly reliable explanation. It may be due to the injury of the consciousness C. Yes. The card-making pen is formed by manipulating energy with spiritual power. If the sea of consciousness is damaged, the card-making pen will definitely be affected. Although the person's original words on the forum were, "Look, it's reasonable for a kidney injury to cause urine to split, and a consciousness sea injury to cause a pen tip to split, right?" But for Chen Ming, it was like an epiphany. Because our adorable host, the former little Chen Ming, is the sea of consciousness shattered and his soul destroyed. That night, as graduation approached, Xiao Chen Ming finally decided to muster the courage to confess to the classmate who had haunted his dreams. So, at the Star City Commercial Plaza, he walked towards Miss with flowers in his hand. Unexpectedly, a false golden lightning bolt fell from the sky and killed him on the spot. Before death, he also sensed a clear will. What level, a woman like me? Then Xiao Chen Ming disappeared. This is actually very scary. In big cities like Star City, the level of security and defense is very high, but the death of Xiao Chen Ming did not cause any waves, and even he only died of consciousness, with good health and no wounds. He concluded afterwards that the young man had provoked someone with a keen eye due to emotional issues. This unlucky child. Chen Ming sighed. After all, this is not a past life. In your past life, you were most likely beaten up for this kind of thing. If you were brave enough, you could still buy a house for 2 million yuan. But here this is the first truth that Chen Ming learned. The world is very dangerous. However, since the problem has been identified, all you need to do is repair the damage to the consciousness sea. So, Chen Ming bought an expensive consciousness sea repair card. For a long time, he carefully opened the card bag. In the card bag is a 1-star card full of metallic texture, with a surreal and mysterious black back that should have been encrypted and encapsulated. The card face has a carefully designed pattern and name, but the background color of the card face is blue. Blue. Chen Ming is somewhat envious. This type of card background color is due to the natural presentation of energy cohesion in the card. The Card Making Association has developed a card quality grading system based on these data. A card with a low energy concentration will have a white background color, which is the standard level. A card with a high background color of blue is the advanced level, a card with a high background color of purple is the top level, and a card with a golden background color at its peak is the legendary level. Obviously, this is a standard advanced card. He is an impressive card maker, and the first time he touched an advanced card, he actually bought it from someone else. However, as long as he solves the problem of consciousness damage, he can also make advanced cards in the future. So, Chen Ming calmed down. According to the instructions, he sat cross-legged, his eyes slightly closed, and activated the card with energy. Buzzing, the deep blue light and shadow flickered, countless energy particles suspended, and a very peaceful voice came from the ear. Next, I will guide you to complete the repair of the consciousness sea. Concentrate. Calm down. Empty-mindedness. Remember. The sea of consciousness is the dwelling place of the soul. The sea of consciousness is the birthplace of spirit. As a beginner, you need to imagine that your sea of consciousness is like a bedroom. You can open the door and enter your own bedroom, so you can enter the sea of consciousness. Chen Ming's consciousness moves with guidance. In an instant, he felt a change in light and shadow before him, and in the midst of chaos, he discovered a bedroom door. So he pushed open the door, but suddenly froze. Inside the room, a burly golden giant was half kneeling, holding a golden spear. It was half kneeling on the ground. Even if kneeling, it was 10 meters high, like a small mountain peak that had long since ceased to move. What? Chen Ming looked bewildered. What the hell is this? How could he have such a thing in the sea of consciousness? Dead. Wait a minute. If this thing dies here, Chen Ming suddenly realized a very serious problem. It's over, my consciousness has turned into a haunted mansion. The new book is here. Seeking collection. Recommended. Seeking various forms of support. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Just one laundry card. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Just one laundry card. Chen Ming is a bit confused. He simply wanted to repair the damaged sea of consciousness, and never expected to repair such a big treasure. His undeveloped sea of consciousness suddenly depreciated. What is this thing? Giant consciousness. No. Not right. He carefully examined the body and surprisingly, he still had a tail. Monsters. A humanoid monster. Why is it here? And there was the golden spear. Even though the owner was dead, it was still terrifying. Even if he glanced at it, his eyes felt a tingling pain. What exactly are these things? Chen Ming is full of doubts. He thought for a moment, approached cautiously, extended his fingers, and slowly touched the massive body. Boom! A golden thunderbolt flashed past, and Chen Ming was bounced off the spot. Pain, pain, pain. Chen Ming struggled to get up. This familiar feeling. His face changed slightly. The golden lightning that killed the host on the spot that night was this thing. So, that's not lightning, it's actually a person. And even more outrageously, as the golden lightning surged, a row of eerie golden words appeared in front of the giant. What is this? Chen Ming glanced at it, as if it were some ancient script. Fortunately, in modern society, it doesn't matter if he doesn't understand. He left the sea of consciousness and searched online. After several comparisons and corrections, he finally deciphered these words. This is the ancient demon script. Most of it has been lost, and he can only guess based on archaeological data. Demon God X, imprisonment O, order. Opportunity. Thunder. Escape. Self-isolation here. Release. Haha star. $%, if there are insults afterwards, I won't translate them. From the previous words, you can roughly guess that this guy received an order to come and eliminate himself. While completing the task, he also killed himself. These golden texts are inscriptions on the steel. Yes. That's right, the inscription. This thing not only committed suicide in Chen Ming's consciousness sea, but it even carved a monument for itself. Chen Ming's face turned pitch black. There seems to be some mysterious demon involved in this. Just thinking about it makes his scalp tingle. He also knew about this matter. The little sister graduated and left after that day, and never appeared again. No one even knew who she was. So. He doesn't know what that woman is. He doesn't know what that man is. He doesn't even know what this thing in front of him is. If you want to commit suicide, can't you choose a place with good feng shui? Chen Ming's face is not very good. Who would choose to die in someone else's sea of consciousness? Is there an ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend? Or the former Walmart shopping bag? He had always felt that the world was very dangerous and planned to be a dead end, and with these things in his mind, the danger level was simply exploding. Therefore, after a calm analysis, he felt that the problem of the sea of consciousness should be resolved as soon as possible. Only by solving the problem of the sea of consciousness can he make cards, become stronger, and not be exploited by anyone. Unfortunately, he studied for half a day, but the golden giant couldn't be dismantled, couldn't be extinguished, couldn't be solved with just a touch of electricity. We need to think of other ways. Chen Ming looked at the haunted house in front of him and fell into contemplation. And at this point. Dormitory. With a bang, the door was suddenly knocked open. Brother Chen. Can you lend me a laundry card? Hey. Zhao Hangfeng, who was in the neighboring dormitory, rushed in with wind and fire. When he saw Chen Ming sitting cross-legged, he suddenly froze. The next second, the mental energy in the room suddenly exploded. Bang! Zhao Hang was immediately rushed out. Buzzing, Chen Ming woke up from the sea of consciousness. Zhao Hang. Chen Ming sighed and said, "How many times have I said to knock on the door first? I'm used to it." Zhao Hang got up and chuckled, "Brother Chen, do you have something important to do to lock the door?" Chen Ming remained expressionless and said, "Last time I locked it, you opened it from the hinge." Zhao Hang awkwardly scratched his head, but felt a burst of pain. Hiss. "Brother Chen, your mental strength is too sharp now, isn't it?" Sharp. Chen Ming is puzzled. Yeah. Hiss. Painful, painful. Zhao Heng grinned in pain and said, "Last time I was kicked out of the dormitory by my senior sister, it didn't hurt as much as you did." "No, I need to go back and apply some medicine." "Say it." He walked with a limp. Chen Ming couldn't help but cry and laugh. "Does it hurt?" He tried to gently sweep his hand with his spiritual power, but he also felt the stabbing pain of a knife, a familiar feeling. Golden spear. He felt that way when he saw that golden spear. Wait a minute. The golden spear is in the sea of consciousness, and the card-making pen comes from the condensation of the sea of consciousness, so the fundamental reason for its card-making tier is this golden spear. At this moment, he finally found the reason. The golden spear is so sharp that even if its owner is dead, just standing there makes the entire sea of consciousness full of sharpness. So, Chen Ming once again stepped into the sea of consciousness. He looked at the sharp spear, trying to conceal its sharpness, but unfortunately, he couldn't find any way to hide it, no matter how strong his spiritual strength was. This won't work. Chen Ming pondered for a moment. In the end, his gaze fell on the giant. Oh. So. Chen Ming covered the golden spear with his clothes and was pleasantly surprised to find that the sharpness radiating throughout the consciousness sea had dissipated, and the consciousness sea had returned to peace. Success. Chen Ming happily left the sea of consciousness. And the half-kneeling burly giant had already been stripped naked by him, leaving only a bulging pair of shorts. Return to reality. Chen Ming started making cards. Buzzing. He is very skilled in condensing the business card printing pen. The golden spear has completely covered it. As for the giant, his strength is strong and stable, and he has not leaked any breath. I think it should be no problem. Right. Shoo. A stroke fell. A winding and winding pattern suddenly appeared. Chen Ming was suddenly shocked. Curve. I clearly drew a straight line. No. Not right. This doesn't seem like a curve either. What appears on the blank card at this moment is a line full of twists and turns, clearly just a straight line from point A to point B, which fluctuates up and down dozens of times. What kind of tattered pattern is this? Sin function. Electrocardiogram. It shouldn't be like this. Chen Ming had some doubts and said, "Are you shaking your hands? It's not right either. A great college student's health shouldn't be so bad, right?" Come again. Chen Ming calmed down and drew again. Brush. A stroke fell. Another winding and winding pattern suddenly appeared. This time, he clearly saw that during the process of drawing a straight line, the pen tip seemed to be affected by some interference, floating up and down more than 10 times. Sure enough, I was still influenced by the sea of evil mansion consciousness. Chen Ming's heart sank. What is card making? That's creation. It is rumored that ancient people were able to use forbidden spells to destroy heaven and earth, but their bodies were overwhelmed and they died early. But now, people simply seal those powerful spells and powers into cards. What are the patterns? The text of the card. Each pattern corresponds to the power of mysticism. Each pattern represents a meticulous algorithm. Every pattern should be planned neatly and clearly visible, which is what card makers should pursue and the beauty that belongs to industry and creativity. However, Chen Ming took a look and didn't seem to have too much of a problem. No matter how the curve twists and turns, at least when I write, point A and point B are facing each other, and this energy pattern has been successfully drawn steadily. Since the definition of texture is a font, it can also be considered a unique font. Song typeface is the font, and you can't discriminate against me, can you? No problem. As long as it's not torn, it's good. Chen Ming breathed a sigh of relief. So. He started drawing again. Although this is his first time making a homemade card, he has practiced it countless times. Laundry card, a regular cleaning card that can quickly clean clothes, is a must-have for adventure. This card contains 12 energy patterns, which can be drawn according to the design drawings. A stroke. 2 strokes. 3 strokes. With Chen Ming's current level of card making, this card should have been easily obtained, but due to this eerie pattern, he is struggling step by step. For a long time. Chen Ming's forehead had already shown beads of sweat, the last stroke. Fall. He clenched his right hand tightly and without hesitation, fell down, completing the final loop of the design pattern, and the faint energy suddenly dissipated. Buzzing, the image on the blank card is condensed, flickering with a faint white glow. It's done. Chen Mingxin is delighted. This is a standard laundry card. Although the texture was a bit unsightly and the process was a bit difficult, it was finally successful. He, Chen Ming, has finally become a qualified card maker. However, at this moment, Zhao Hang stormed in again and said, Brother Chen, I remember, I just wanted to ask you if you have a laundry card. Ha! Did you make one? Chen Ming nodded slightly. Do you want to test it? Zhao Hang's eyes lit up. He has a bunch of clothes waiting to be washed. Ah. Chen Ming thought about his intricate patterns and shook his head. Forget it, the test card is not very stable. I'll use the clothes I'm planning to throw away to test, he said, don't do it. Zhao Hang chuckled and said, don't worry, Brother Chen, I'll take care of anything. Laugh to death. Just a laundry card, even if there is a problem, can it still go to heaven? So. He quickly brought a large basket of dirty clothes. Chen Ming aimed at the dirty clothes in the clothes basket that could be used for oiling and activated the cards. He saw the cards shoot out, transforming into countless energy particles, submerging the clothes. The dirty clothes instantly turned white as new. Oh. Chen Ming's eyes lit up, to his surprise, he really cleaned it up. Brother Chen is mighty. Zhao Heng excitedly went over and picked up a piece of clothing, but felt something was not quite right. Hey! He picked up the clothes, only to find that there were only a bunch of strips in his hand. He looked at the laundry basket with a bewildered expression and was horrified to find that all of his clothes had been torn into strips. Chen, Brother Chen. Zhao Heng looked at Chen Ming with a bewildered expression on his face. Ah. After pondering for a moment, Chen Ming concluded, just say you didn't wash it thoroughly. Coinciding with the editor's vacation, it seems that the first chapter has been reviewed for a long time. The second chapter is attached and will be updated normally starting tomorrow. Please recommend it. Seeking collection. New book release, seeking various support. Wishing everyone a happy holiday, end of this chapter. Chapter 3. Is just a completion project. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 is just a completion project at this moment. The laundry card test is complete. Good news. The clothes have been washed clean. Better news. The dormitory mops can also be replaced with new ones. Chen, didn't you really mean to? Zhao Heng's tearful eyes. I need to have the ability to change my card and worry about my graduation project. Chen Ming sneered. That's also right. Zhao Heng sighed. For a long time. He left with a deep palace resentment. After all, he took the initiative to ask Chen Ming to test the laundry card, and there was no place to cry. He could only tearfully dispose of all the torn clothes. That night, the boys' dormitory welcomed a new update, and all dormitories had new mops. As for Chen Ming, he thought about his Parkinson's-like patterns and fell into contemplation. Mysterious corpses, the irritable patterns that beat like a heart, sure enough. Even if he covers the golden spear, it can only reduce the negative impact of the sea of evil mansion consciousness, but this is already the limit he can handle. It's okay. Chen Ming is very calm. Mysterious corpses are constant, even if they affect card printing, they must be constant. As long as the patterns are identified, they cannot be avoided. So, he made a large number of laundry cards for testing. However, what's even more outrageous is that these 10 laundry cards have different cleaning effects for each one. Serious laundry card. Releases a large amount of cleaning particles at a constant rate to remove dirt. Chen Ming laundry card. It was supposed to release a large amount of cleaning particles at a constant rate, but due to the winding patterns, all cleaning particles became self-released. Some of them are extremely slow, comparable to the speed of the three mothers on the highway. Some are extremely fast, rushing to have a second reincarnation. Slow speed may not wash thoroughly. Speeding too fast can tear clothes. This leads to some areas of the same garment not being washed thoroughly, while others are washed too thoroughly and even torn into strips as for the proportion unable to control. This thing highlights a randomness. Electrocardiogram patterns. No. The electrocardiogram has a stable pattern, with peaks and valleys, and this thing may even be in the valleys from beginning to end. Although it is a straight line pattern from point A to point B, you have no idea what it will twist into before drawing it, just like lightning. Yes, lightning. The winding path from point A to point B is more like lightning. During the discharge process of lightning, the current will preferentially choose substances that are more conductive in the air to pass through, which is what we see as twisted lightning. Therefore, he referred to this pattern as the lightning pattern. Lightning patterns. Chen Ming has some understanding now. The influence of the sea of evil mansion consciousness leads to lightning patterns, and the influence of lightning patterns causes the value of this laundry card to be as random as a lightning path. Just like forcibly changing the fixed parameters of the card into dynamic values in higher order pattern formulas, similar to random, speed, random, size, this kind of thing. Life is unpredictable. Chen Ming smiled bitterly. He has done something wrong. However, While organizing these evaluation data, Chen Ming suddenly froze, randomly. If that's really the case, brush. He suddenly rushed to the desk to start making cards. Soon, Chen Ming drew all the one-star basic cards he had mastered in recent years and began testing them one by one. Flame card. The burning flame, due to uneven release rate, causes the flame to grow larger and smaller, and even extinguish on the spot. Jump card, eliminate. Sand shield card. The shield of sand and soil, because the strength of the shield surface is very uneven, the defense effect is greatly reduced. Jump card, eliminate. Whirlwind card. The condensed wind vortex varies in size and even blows in the opposite direction, causing internal friction. Jump card, eliminate. Wait a minute. Out of 12 cards, not a single one passed. Some cards fail to be created on the spot. Some cards have significantly reduced power. On the contrary, due to the concept of the shortest straight line distance between points, the lightning pattern curve leads to longer patterns, resulting in a significant increase in energy consumption for all cards. However, Chen Ming's eyes became even brighter. Random. It is indeed random. Each card has different random parameters. Some are sizes. Some are long and short. Some are soft and hard. Some are fast or slow. At this point, he completed his 13th and final card. The Ice Cone card, a one-star standard card, with the effect of releasing an ice cone to attack enemies. Enemy. Chen Ming's gaze flowed and landed on the poster on the wall. The host seems to be testing here every time. Brush. He gripped the card with both fingers and threw it towards the poster on the wall. The shimmering card transformed into a deep blue ice cone in the air. Shoo! The ice cone burst out and turned into an arc, inserted into the poster. Sure enough. Chen Ming's mind was greatly shaken. Arc. This random incident is curved. It actually bent. Carefully comparing the standard one-star ice cone card, Chen Ming was pleasantly surprised to find that this ice cone card not only has a random angle, but also a random speed. Yes. This is the effect brought by lightning patterns. Although most cards will be negatively affected, as long as one card matches, it will definitely have an amazing effect. At this moment, Chen Ming's mind was uplifted. Perhaps, it brings not only substandard products, chaotic consciousness, and instability to itself. Think of those top-tier cards, think of those super large group attack cards that are also random. The future is promising. He just thinks about it and his mouth becomes dry. However, at this moment, there was a crisp sound when the poster was uploaded. Chen Ming looked up and was shocked to find that the ice cone inserted into the poster was too deep, penetrating the walls of the dormitory opposite. Zhao Hang, who was bending down to put on his shoes, felt a chill in his anus. Looking back, he suddenly felt his spirits rising. Fortunately, at this moment, the power of the ice cone has been exhausted. Sorry. I didn't master the card effect well. Chen Ming quickly apologized. No, it's okay. Zhao Hang's face turned pale and he was still in shock for a while before calming down. I've had a car accident before, but Chen, I still need to go to the school's R&D center to test the card. It's too dangerous. If this were any stronger. He just thought about it and felt Kikubu shiver. Thank you. Chen Ming has taken note. As for this entrance, the two discussed and hung a new poster. What's going on? Chen Ming couldn't help but cry and laugh. In my memory, Xiao Chen Ming tested it all in the dormitory. This traditional ice cone card has hit the poster countless times and has never overturned. Who would have thought about today? Oh, lightning patterns. This ice cone card has a faster speed than usual and an increased power, which is why it overturns. It seems that randomness is not always a trough, it can also be a peak. Is it the Euclidean conservation law? It seems we need to be more cautious in the future. Chen Ming's self-summary. Now that the card printing is ready, we can plan for the future. Firstly, complete the graduation thesis, pass the Make.Up exam, and graduate smoothly. Secondly, finding a strong research and development institution to work for is the safest way to seek protection from before one's own strength becomes stronger. It's just a superficial design. Chen Ming smiled confidently. These days without a legal card, he started thinking about completing his thesis and had already figured it out. So, with a big wave of his hand, he took out the already set paper project, improvement of 1-star laundry card. Feasibility analysis report on how to make cleaning particles spiral up to increase clothing friction and improve decontamination ability, and began writing. 3 hours later, the first page was successfully completed. Author: Chen Ming, a total of 4 large characters with 1 punctuation mark. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Research and Development Center. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Research and Development Center. At this moment, Chen Ming's mind was completely blank. He couldn't write this paper at all. After thinking for a while, he realized that he couldn't even make a serious laundry card. Do you guess the defense teacher will give you a full score because you washed it very clean? Let's change it. Chen Ming sighed. He now needs a card that is not easy to overturn. So, Chen Ming recalled all the card designs that the host had, and only ice cone cards were available. But basic attacks that can turn corners are everywhere and may not pass the defense. After all, is it too much to take a detour in just a few years of college? You are not majoring in animation. Therefore, he urgently needs a new card now. So, Chen Ming went to the college library and searched through the publicly available design drawings of the school for a moment, finally finding a familiar card. Triple ice cone card. Level: 1-star advanced card description. Improved from ice cone cards, it can release 3 ice cones at once, causing powerful attack effects, and is one of the best selling cards in its class. Triple ice cones. Chen Ming's eyes lit up. This card is an improved ice cone card. Even if mutated, it should not overturn. This card is drawn from 15 patterns, and the difficulty is acceptable. So, Chen Ming bought the design and started making cards. Brush. A stroke falls, familiar ripple patterns. Chen Ming's expression was calm. He was now accustomed to this pattern and could only be as precise as possible. A stroke, 2 strokes quickly. Before Chen Ming's mental control reached its limit, he was sweating profusely and trembling as he made his final stroke. It's done. Buzzing, the light and shadow flickered, and on the card pattern that had just completed the closed loop, energy flowed through, and a brilliant blue radiance suddenly shone. It's done. Chen Ming is satisfied. It seems that the lightning pattern did not demote this card on the spot. At this moment, the card on the table still looks like an ordinary card, but its background color has turned blue. This is his first advanced card in life. At this moment, Chen Ming instinctively pinched his card and looked at the poster, paused. Then suddenly stopped. Regardless of the lightning pattern effect, an ice cone card can blast a hole in the wall, and if 3 ice cones burst at the same time, his scalp will tingle when he thinks about it. Forget it, let's go to the R&D center for testing. However, if we want to conduct a card variable experiment test, we may need to prepare more cards. So, he made more cards. For a long time. Production completed. Chen Ming put a stack of cards into the card bag. This is the host's treasure, no touch allowed. It may have been bought at a high price. This card bag looks very exquisite, full of a thick frosted texture, with a light blue gradient retro color, and a white-blue contrast. It is very extraordinary, even inside out. I changed my jeans. For a long time. Chen Ming walked out of the dormitory. The campus is filled with bright and warm sunshine, fresh and refreshing air, and youthful students. The gentle breeze blowing slowly makes them feel like they are separated from each other. Brother Chen. Brother Chen. A student who looked very immature came over to greet him. Chen Ming remembered him. His name was Lu Xiaofeng, a student from class 2 in the same department. He was born with a baby face and had a personality similar to his inexperienced younger brother Chen Hao. Brother Chen, are you going to test the cards? Lu Xiaofeng is excited. Chen Ming was curious, what's so happy about? Hee hee. Lu Xiaofeng whispered, I've come up with a new card again. If we can successfully complete the data adjustment, we might get a big score in this defense. Congratulations in advance, then. Chen Ming burst into laughter in silence. For a long time. The two of them arrived at the Research and Development Center. This is a unique experimental center for the R&D profession. Due to the unique nature of the R&D profession, the college has tailored the most perfect testing center for them, covering everything from card testing to site repair. As graduation approaches, this place is also crowded with people and busy. The testing of cards usually takes place in a long room with a dummy at the end and sensors hanging on the surrounding walls. You can input the test card, select the card type, and then make parameter adjustments, even some suggestions. However, just as they were preparing for the test, there was suddenly a commotion coming from the door. A group of people entered the training ground and started making a lot of noise. It's them again. Lu Xiaofeng frowned. Do you know each other? Chen Ming is curious. Lu Xiaofeng's face didn't look very good. They are in the combat card making system, and the leader is called Zhang Yuntian. They often bully others and occupy our Research and Development Center. Combat card system. Chen Ming's mind twitched slightly. The so-called profession has specialization, and due to different patterns and technical directions, card making also has countless professional directions. When studying at the card-making college, students can be admitted to the card major they want to pursue, such as weapon cards, flight cards, summon cards, and so on. The one with the highest professional score is the combat card-making major, commonly known as the combat card-making system. This is their school's ace major. Through professional training and specialization, card makers can improve their cultivation level, improve their card-making skills, and enhance their card-making skills, thereby creating powerful cards. And their research and development is a completely different path. In theory, the R&D major is just one of the countless specialties of a card maker. But due to the characteristics of research and development, this is already a completely different field. Research and development mainly focuses on inventing and creating new cards. More than 10 years ago, a dean named Nanguang believed that as a key university, it should have its own self-developed card, so he teamed up with dozens of powerful card makers to create a research and development department, investing heavily. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, the development was put on hold, and the research and development department became the lowest scoring major. The card-making college is one of the top 100 key universities in the world, and its research and development programs may not even rank in the top 500. So far, the R&D department is gradually declining. Without resources and students, enrollment relies entirely on adjustment. If Dean Nanguang is still here. Lu Xiaofeng was indignant. Let's go. Chen Ming patted his shoulder. This kind of thing between two majors is not something they can get involved in. Lu Xiaofeng nodded. The students in the R&D department are too lazy to argue with them, so they can come back tomorrow at best. However, at this moment, the student named Zhang Yuntian waved his hand and said, "We'll be using it for about a week. Don't come and get in the way these days." A week. The R&D students couldn't help but say, "We still have to finish our project this week." So what? Zhang Yuntian felt a bit disdainful and said, "With your profession like this, maybe it will be banned in the next term." You can just copy something and fool around. What do you mean? Lu Xiaofeng is angry. Isn't it? Zhang Yuntian chuckled and said, I'm not sure about other schools, but our schools are D department. Hee, why did you choose the R&D department? Didn't you just fail the card-making major and pass the transfer? Otherwise. Is it because of love, said Zhang Yuntian, playing with the flavor. The students of the combat card printing department burst into laughter. I chose it myself. Lu Xiaofeng said decisively. Is that right? So that's it. I don't bully you either. Zhang Yuntian walked up to him and said, don't you want to test your cards? Come on, I'll help you test and give you the most accurate evaluation. That's what you said. Lu Xiaofeng was furious. Brush. He took out a card and threw it over. The card dissipated and turned into a ball of fire, charging towards Zhang Yuntian. However, Zhang Yuntian only glanced at it and then flipped out a card. Endless blue light and shadow transformed into an ice snake rushing out. Boom. A loud bang. Ice snakes shuttle past, tearing apart fireballs and knocking down Lu Xiaofeng to the ground. Is that all? Zhang Yuntian was very disappointed. Come on. I'll give you the evaluation results. Based on your analysis of this card, its energy consumption is extremely low, but its power is also extremely low. In our card-making system, it is considered a garbage card and failed. But in your R&D department. No, Fireball is a basic card. Aren't your R&D department using self-developed cards? Where is the R&D department? Wait, this smell. Fruit aroma. Zhang Yuntian showed a surprised expression and said, damn it. Fruit-flavored fireball technique. Is it really him? It's fresh, ha. You guys want to laugh at me. Fruit-flavored fireball, ha. Isn't this your graduation project? Where did you get the inspiration? Did you create it from someone else's floral laundry card? Your R&D department is really breaking the bottom line of lousy, ha. The students were shocked. The reason why laundry cards have fragrance is because they are lifestyle cards. Dry laundry with fragrance is also easy to sell, while fireball cards are used for combat. Fruit-flavored fireballs. Lu Xiaofeng clenched his fists tightly, full of anger. He believes in his research and development, which is only a semi-finished product, so he needs to test the data. At this point, Zhang Yuntian finished laughing and gave his final evaluation. Chicken rib, I'm not sure what purpose you made this card for, but it's just a chicken rib. This is the most authentic evaluation, more accurate than testing anywhere. Who else wants to test it? I'll help you test it. No one spoke. Is it gone? If it's gone, go away. Zhang Yuntian's gaze swept over them and said indifferently, remember, from today on, this research and development center will be requisitioned by our combat card printing system. At this point, Chen Ming sighed, adhering to the principle of low-key first. He didn't want to get involved, but the more he talked about this cargo, the more it went too far. From occupying it for a few days at the beginning to permanent requisition, he waited a little longer. Will this cargo need to apply for a temporary residence permit here? So. He helped Lu Xiaofeng up and said, actually, I also have a card to test. Speaking. He slowly took out a card. Oh. Zhang Yuntian's eyes narrowed. Is there still such an ignorant guy? At this point, Chen Ming's card was released, transforming into a faint light and shadow. This card. Zhang Yuntian was shocked and strangely watched as the card dispersed into countless energy particles surrounding him, washing his clothes clean. Laundry card. Is your R&D department tied up with the laundry card? Laughed to death. He knew that the level of the R&D department in the card-making college was very low, but he didn't expect it to be so low. It's simply lowering the lower limit of key universities. However, He was about to speak when he suddenly felt a chill on his body and looked down suddenly, the forehead became congested. Brush. The R&D center fell silent. Everyone was dumbfounded. All eyes brushed together and looked over, quite shocked. Chen Ming sighed. You see, that's why he didn't dare to use a laundry card for his graduation thesis. Too unstable. He originally just wanted to tear some of his clothes and give him a warning to bully his students. Who would have thought that the effect this time was really stronger? At this point, Zhang Yintian's clothes had already been torn apart, turning into strips of cloth and drifting around the research and development center. He was covered all over, except for a cloth strip hanging in the middle, which seemed to represent the oldest primitive style of clothing, revealing his wild and unrestrained nature. Laundry card. No, this is clearly a strip card. I don't know why. Chen Ming suddenly remembered an ancient saying. When the enemy is ashamed, I will go and take off his clothes. Recommended. Seeking collection. Whimpering, end of this chapter. Chapter 5. Explosive killing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Explosive Killing. Research and Development Center. At this point, Zhang Yintian's buzzing brain also came to his senses. He looked at the shocked gaze of the students, as he watched the female classmates cover their eyes and look through their fingers. He felt hot and bloodshot all over. Not good. He secretly said something was wrong, and his gaze swept over his own little brother. He simply stripped off a student from the combat card printing department and put it on himself. Brother Zhang. You go back to the dormitory first, and the clothes will be returned to you later. Oh. That little brother didn't dare to speak and left in despair. Zhang Yintian put on his clothes and felt better now. Very good. It is truly a research and development department. Zhang Yintian laughed back and said, I underestimated you. If you can use your laundry card so brilliantly, you are qualified to be my opponent. You asked me to test it. Chen Ming is very innocent. No need to talk nonsense. Zhang Yintian's gaze was gloomy. If you win, I'll take someone out. If you lose, don't blame me for being impolite. Say it. He pulled out his card on the spot. Chen Ming saw that the situation was not right, so he didn't hesitate to throw out his card. The laundry card. Buzzing, blue light and shadow condense. Zhang Yintian's card escaped from his hand, and the ice snake card was released, crushing the particles of the laundry card on the spot. Is that all? Zhang Yintian grinned grimly. He was about to continue his attack when he suddenly saw a faint blue in Chen Ming's hand, which was heart-stopping. The blue light and shadow flickered, transforming into 3 ice cones. This is triple ice cone card. Zhang Yintian's face slightly changed. Brush. Without hesitation, he flipped out an advanced card and turned it into a solid shield in front of him, which was the strongest defense shield for their combat card-making profession. Not to mention triple ice cones, they can withstand even 5 levels. However, just as 3 ice cones burst in, his face suddenly changed drastically. What? This is Zhang Yintian's eyes widened and he was surprised to find that the size, shape, speed, and even attack angle of the 3 ice cones he shot were completely different. 3 ice cones. 3 directions. 3 speeds. Even, there was an ice cone that swept through a strange arc and wrapped around its back puff. 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 Zhang Yintian felt a chill in his body, and 3 ice cones hit his mouth, abdomen, and buttocks respectively. Brush. The entire R&D center was silent. Hiss, the students glanced and instinctively squeezed their legs. This power, this location for a long time. Zhang Yintian trembled and stood up, stroking his buttocks, his face completely changed. What the hell are these cards? Forget the laundry card just now, what are these triple ice cone cards? However, How strong are you? You're just one person. At this moment, Zhang Yintian, who had become angry and embarrassed, was ready to ask someone to take action together. Let's go together. Are you also here to help me test? Chen Ming smiled slightly and pulled out a stack of cards. Some were laundry cards and some were triple ice cone cards. Brush. The expression on Zhang Yintian's face was frozen. The students also took a step back in unison. They didn't have the same thick skin as Zhang Yintian, nor did they have Zhang Yintian's ability to melt ice cones with a warm heart. Brother Zhang. A few students dragged him. I can't stay in this place anymore. With this guy around, they really can't handle it. Zhang Yintian remained silent. For a long time, he gave Chen Ming a deep glance and said, "Great, I remember you. Say it." He turned around and left. The students breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly left, with astonishing cheers coming from the Research and Development Center. Brother Chen is mighty. Lu Xiaofeng was extremely excited. So strong. They are used to being bullied, and most of the time they will endure it. Occasionally, when they get angry and explode, they will be beaten up. They have never been so proud. Test the cards well. Chen Ming waved his hand. Okay. The students are excited. Chen Ming is also very satisfied. Although there were some minor accidents, he obtained the first-hand data of the triple ice cone card, and the completion should be able to handle it. Oh, there is also data on laundry cards. How to say it? Let's put this card on hold for now. Although it has miraculous effects in certain situations and places, he drew a conclusion from the frightened and distant eyes of the students. Studying laundry cards is likely an indescribable and irreversible path not long. The incident at the training ground was spread to the school forum, causing a huge uproar. This card. Zhang Yintian is a card maker in the battle card making system. The two advanced cards he made are also very excellent, and he didn't even block that card. That card is not right. Of course not, now school forums are all about high-definition images. What I'm talking about is an ice cone card. That laundry card may just be a simple power enhancement. Zhang Yintian was careless and didn't guard against being hit. But that triple ice cone card is different. Ordinary triple ice cone cards multiply ice cone patterns by 3 to save patterns, but Chen Ming customized each ice cone so delicately without using random and higher order patterns. This person's card-making foundation must have reached the pinnacle. Are you saying that his R&D department's card-making level is even stronger than Zhang Yintian's? It's very likely. Hiss. Our school is really crouching tigers, hiding dragons. The students are filled with emotions. For a school where someone confesses every day and can cause a sensation, such incidents can already be considered shocking news. At this point. Teacher's office. The teachers have also heard about this matter. Although in their opinion, the research and development level of this triple ice cone card is not strong, the card's card-making foundation is very impressive. Let this child go to graduate school with me. The teacher of the flight card printing department is excited. R&D department. What's so foolish about that rundown place? With the card-making level demonstrated by Chen Ming, if placed in their profession, it would have taken off long ago. Fart. Do you know that your profession has no future? The illusionary card-making teacher sneered, this kind of genius may have the opportunity to become a card-making master in the future. Of course, it is most suitable to come to our profession. Why don't you go to your hallucination major and make a yellow card? Can you say it again? A few teachers almost didn't get into a fight. In the corner of the office, Teacher Wang remained calm and opened the light curtain, watching the discussion on the triple ice cone card on the forum with a pleased smile. He was just thinking about what to do with this child, so he was trying to hold back a big trick. Hey, this stinky kid. Well done. At this point. Dormitory. Chen Ming watched helplessly as the situation escalated. Since defeating Zhang Yintian, the news has never stopped. He lifted his wrist, and the holographic screen popping up from the wristband communicator was already filled with messages. Ding! Hello Chen Ming, I am a teacher from the summoning card making major. I was wondering if you are interested in transferring to our major for graduate studies in the future. I will arrange it for you. Ding! Chen Ming, would you be interested in experiencing the charm of flying in our flight card making program? Ding! Brother Chen, she is a student majoring in illusion card making. Can you teach me how to make illusion characters more realistic? She has time at night, various SMS messages. However, Chen Ming is an old fogey after all, and he has a relaxed social interaction with all kinds of problems. Of course. If these messages are all about the teacher's love for his talent and the admiration of his classmates, then this last message is a bit outrageous. Ding! Hello Chen Ming, I'm teacher Zhao from the battle card making major. Yes, you're right, it's Zhang Yintian, that bastard's teacher. I just wanted to ask if you're interested in beating him up. As long as you're willing to pursue graduate school with me, I'll arrange it for you every day. Say it. He seemed to feel that his sincerity was not enough, so he added, I'm satisfied. Chen Ming. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Do you like second creation? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Do you like second creation? Chen Ming couldn't help but cry and laugh. What kind of people are these teachers? Hey! He felt like a sudden internet celebrity, being pulled to the limit by capital tycoons and lured around with various benefits. Going to graduate school. That sounds great. Unfortunately, he knows one thing very well. He doesn't have much talent in card making. These teachers are here for what they call their amazing card making talent. They don't have any at all. How dare they turn around and expose it in minutes? The most important thing is to maintain a stable mindset first. Chen Ming took a deep breath. He has never experienced such a thing before, but in his past life, he has been used to seeing various internet celebrities go from being popular to expanding to crashing overnight. In such moments, it is necessary to maintain a stable mindset. Let this matter cool down first before we talk. So, these days, he has been preparing his graduation project with peace of mind. What is the R&D department? Research, invent, and create cards. All the content of university learning revolves around these aspects. Unfortunately, for most student stage R&D card makers, their basic level is too weak and they are not qualified for real card development. Just like a programmer. It is impossible to expect computer science students to completely write a complex and complete program. Most students simply copy the source code, copy modules, piece them together, delete bugs, and modify the environment. Therefore, the main content of this project is improvement and optimization, which can also be understood as second creation. Optimize a standard card for stronger functionality and create a qualified improvement card to meet the requirements of this defense. The theme chosen by Chen Ming for his graduation project is the triple ice cone card. After testing, the results are satisfactory. He originally thought that the speeds of the 3 ice cones were random. This actually has weak power, and the opponent only needs to sequentially break through the ice cones. However, the battle with Zhang Yuntian showed him a surprising side, as regardless of the curvature, these 3 ice cones would attack the target simultaneously. The speed is not random. But during the process of 3 ice cones attacking point B from point A, no matter what the process is, no matter how many twists and turns, they all arrive at the same time. Just like lightning patterns. Therefore, the larger the arc, the longer the distance, and the faster the speed. This is the real reason why ice cone cards have different speeds, and the mutation effect brought by lightning patterns far exceeds Chen Ming's understanding. Just use the triple ice cone card as the final design. Chen Ming quickly finalized it. Based on these days of testing, he quickly improved the data for the final design and easily wrote it to the end. However, he got stuck while filling out the design drawings. Design drawings. Chen Ming was lost in thought. His design is a standard triple ice cone card, but it only turns into a lightning pattern after being drawn. It's definitely impossible to display the original image. This is not a paper. Even if you copy it in its original form and have your Shandong friend read it again, you can still pass it. But standard design drawings are not suitable. If the plagiarism check is 100%, he will be completely cold. However, to his surprise, when he went to the R&D center and included the design of lightning patterns in the plagiarism check, he received a strange answer. The plagiarism check rate was 0%, and no pattern was overlapping. Although he drew according to the standard design, there was no overlapping pattern. That's also right. After all the patterns have changed, even the card effects have changed. This is no longer the original card, it can even be understood as a mutated new card. In that case, does the defense seem to be fine? Star City. Lake and Sea Villa. A middle-aged man named Lin Haiyang looked at the video on the light curtain. When he saw the 3 ice cones with different shapes filling Zhang Yuntian, his eyebrows turned into fried dough twists. Is this a new card from the R&D department? He asked in a deep voice. Yes, master. According to the data, the card was made by Chen Ming from the R&D department and prepared for the defense of the R&D department. Set a small circle on a smart device flickering slightly on the table. What about Bixiequan's card? Lin Haiyang becomes vigilant. Each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Lin Haiyang remains silent. This cannot have its own advantages and disadvantages. What he can write on his recommendation letter to his son is: the reason why his son Lin Quan can score 100 points on the exam is not because he only has 100 points, but because the exam paper only has 100 points. How domineering. But if we lose the defense, it would be too embarrassing. Is there any way to keep Lin Quan stable at the top? Wait a moment. The small circle quickly replied, based on the deduction, all that is needed is to silence the rest of the R&D department. What? Lin Haiyang's face turned pitch black. You don't even have a brain for artificial intelligence, do you? Yes, master, we don't have brains. The small circle sincerely replied. Lin Haiyang. At this point, the small circle flickered with a faint light and said, if you have any doubts about this proposal, let me answer. Considering that everyone in the R&D department has the possibility of sudden inspiration, there is a small probability that anyone has a perfect score. Therefore, to ensure that Lin Quan ranks first, silencing the others is the only option. Lin Haiyang sighed in awe. He now understands why in the movie, those artificial intelligences, despite receiving orders to protect human sparks, actually eliminate humans. Tynema is outrageous. This is Star City. If he really dares to kill someone, he will be hung with a street lamp on the same day. Forget it. Let's figure it out on our own. A few days later, Chen Ming arrived at the classroom. At this moment, school leaders and teachers of professional courses are sitting in the first row, while counselors and assistants are preparing equipment such as dummies and holographic projectors for testing cards. For a long time, the equipment is ready and the defense officially begins. The teachers are also very relaxed. Because they have a clear understanding of their students' grades, it is highly likely that they will follow a process to ensure that everyone has passed, which can be considered as an explanation. However, no one expected it. The first student to defend came up and let out a big thunder. Hello teachers, I am Zhang San from class 3 of R&D, and the card I will set for this defense is the triple ice cone card. Brush. The students also looked at Chen Ming in unison. Sigh. Chen Ming was surprised. Is it so coincidental? Let's get started. The teachers were unable to laugh or cry. Everyone has heard of the recent events, and everyone has seen the power of Chen Ming's card. I didn't expect other students to improve this card. Good Zhang San began to explain, as we all know, although the power of traditional triple ice cone cards is good, they are too straightforward. Therefore, my improved version of this card. Adding wind patterns to increase the shooting speed of triple ice cone cards. These are my patterns, design drawings, and creative ideas. Zhang San's improvement direction is only the ice cone speed, which may really be just a coincidence, and the theme of the collision is not a strange thing. As for the design, the patterns on his card design are also very neat. Very neat. Very excellent. This has exceeded the level of their research and development department students. Another burst of inspiration. The teachers glanced at each other and gave a reasonable score of 80. However, when the second person came up, "Hello teachers, I am Li Si from class 3 of RD, and the card I have set for this defense is the triple ice cone card." What? Everyone's face slightly changed. Even the teachers' expressions became solemn, like triple ice cone cards. Not quite right. Zhao Heng, sitting next to Chen Ming, frowned tightly. It's okay. Chen Ming narrowed his eyes and said, "Let's take a look first." At this point, Li Si began her introduction by improving the shape and size of the ice cone card, resulting in greater energy consumption and increased power. The teachers glanced at each other and ultimately gave a score of 75. However, this is just the beginning. The 3rd, 6th, 8th, 12th every few students, one person's graduation theme is a triple ice cone card, and the teachers almost reluctantly give them their defense scores. Someone has improved their perspective. The attack radius of the 3 ice cones, although slightly smaller in angle, is still considered a positive improvement and enhancement. Someone else has improved the color. Have you ever seen a green ice cone? Some even improved the shape by changing the 3 ice cones into the shape of 3 fists, named Nongfu 3-fist card. So, a good defense turned into a collection of triple ice cone card creations. Don't you like second creation? Kill you. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. New Architecture. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 8. Stealing Houses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Stealing Houses Star City. Villa Area. Lin Haiyang had nowhere to vent his anger and smashed everything in his house clean. Full score. Surprisingly, it's a perfect score. He even made preparations, but managed to give Chen Ming a perfect score for the graduation project. A bunch of trash. He couldn't help but curse and then turned around to see his son lying on the desk drawing cards, which were clearly Chen Ming's triple ice cone card. Don't you know it's embarrassing? Lin Haiyang was angry and said, "You lost to a scumbag who failed 3 subjects. Is that right?" Lin Quan didn't even lift his head. What more embarrassing than finding a bunch of people to make triple ice cone cards? Do you know? Lin Haiyang suddenly fell into a speech jam. I guessed it when I saw them. Lin Quan spoke calmly and said, "Do you think the school leaders are all fools? They just look at me as a genius student and don't want to delve deeper. So I'm glad Chen Ming can win." Brush. He drew another stroke on the card. Lin Haiyang chuckled twice and said, "Koizumi, Dad is also doing it for you." "Dad, the times are different." Lin Quan sighed and said, "I know you started by selling fish, and it took you a very difficult road to reach this point, but that era has already passed. For a long time." He finished making his card and got up to leave. "I'm back at school," he said, sigh. Lin Haiyang sighed. This child is good at everything, but he is too naive. How do you know the hard work of being a father? The quota for this inspection was obtained by saving that person's life. It was an opportunity for carp to leap over the dragon gate. If they could get in, they would struggle for at least 30 years. You are my son, Lin Haiyang. I will never let you eat the bitterness I have endured again at this point. School. Chen Ming was left behind by Mr. Dong. Dong Lao. Chen Ming said cautiously, do you have any instructions? No. Dong Lao threw out the card that Chen Ming had just made, and then threw out the design. Take a closer look, what's the difference between these two cards? Chen Ming looked at him with a guilty expression and said, it's the same. Same. Dong rolled his eyes and said, why don't I give it a try? Although the patterns on these two cards are very similar, the card maker's drawing is at the replica level. By comparing these two cards, it can be seen that the patterns are completely different. These are two cards. Not only that. If Mr. Dong guessed correctly, although both of these cards are triple ice cone cards, if released, the ice cone speed, strength, and attack angle may be completely different. What does this mean? What Chen Ming submitted is fake. A true design should be completely random. And this design diagram is just a design diagram for the completion of this card, it is the data in a random state at that time, and it is a temporary design diagram with a constant value. Dong Lao, actually. Chen Ming paused for a moment. He hasn't figured out what to do yet. Explain. Needless to say, I understand. Dong sighed and said, it should be for copyright, right? After all, the design drawings in the final design belong to the school, and it's normal for you to be unwilling. Ah. Chen Ming is in a daze, so is this why I am? Teacher, Don't worry, I understand. Dong smiled slightly and said, even if it's a temporary design, it's far beyond the level of this stage. I won't deduct your score. I just didn't expect such talent to emerge in my research and development department. Very good, very good. Speaking of which, Mr. Dong felt a little relieved and said, Chen Ming, I wonder if you're interested in learning from me. The teacher doesn't have any other skills, and he still has some prestige in this research and development field. I can help you a little. Apprentice. Chen Ming was shocked. Especially when Mr. Dong mentioned the design drawings, he felt a thump in his heart. He knows that the teacher is doing him good. But the problem is, he doesn't even have a design. The so-called temporary design drawings are already his limit. Is the so-called true design drawing random every time it is released? It doesn't exist. Not at all. Therefore, he can only pretend to be foolish. No need. I'm more used to researching on my own, Chen Ming said with a simple and honest scratching of his head. Okay. Dong understood and said, then we'll wait for your good news. For a long time. Old Dong complained to his wife Roast when he returned home. He feels very uncomfortable. After several years, he finally made up his mind to take on an apprentice, but was rejected. You. Madam couldn't help but laugh and cry, you're too urgent. Those who don't know think you're stealing someone else's design. Ah. Dong Lao looked bewildered and said, as for my professor, how about snatching a star design? Who knows? Madam pondered, there are quite a few scumbags these days. You. Dong blew his beard and stared angrily. Upon careful consideration, it seems that he is indeed a bit anxious. Are you so short of disciples? Madam, it's funny. Lack. Dong looked solemn and said, as professors, who hasn't taught thousands or even tens of thousands of people? But how many truly call us masters? How many have achieved more than us? They all say, I hope my son becomes a dragon and I hope my daughter becomes a phoenix. Isn't it true that I am a disciple? Say it again. Chen Ming's talent is really excellent, and his foundation is very solid. Unfortunately, this child doesn't trust me. Dong Lao is full of regrets. You. Madam chuckled and said, do you have a temporary design? Show me it. No. Dong Lao handed it over. Madam looked at it for a moment, her eyes bright, truly perfect. It was just a temporary design that made her feel that the child was extraordinary. No wonder my husband can't forget it. Madam smiled in her eyes and said, do you really want to take him as a disciple? That's natural. Mr. Dong is very certain. Take a look. Madam pointed to the patterns on the design and said, have you noticed that these patterns, like lightning, have patterns? This should be some kind of encryption algorithm. By cracking the algorithm, we can restore its true design. Coincidentally, our team has some free time. The next day. At night. Chen Ming was preparing for the Make.Up exam when he suddenly received a message from Mr. Dong. Chen Ming, are you there? Are you familiar with this picture? Mr. Dong will send the design drawings over. Brush. There was a long silence across the street. A smile appeared at the corner of Mr. Dong's mouth. Isn't this child scared? That's also right. This child, in order to prevent the design drawings from being seen, was both temporary and encrypted, and unexpectedly released the real design drawings directly by himself. Yes, that's right. What he sent to Chen Ming was the actual design of the random triple ice cone card. After Mrs. S. team rushed to work overnight, several geniuses worked together to deduce and decipher the real design. However, what he didn't know was that at this moment, Chen Ming looked at the design with a bewildered expression on his face. What is this? What is this? This is a design drawing that I have never seen before, with complex and neat patterns. Although they are all one-star patterns, many of them are unseen at his current level, he can't understand it all. What does Mr. Dong mean? Test. Assessment. Doubting yourself again. Chen Ming is now a horse with a guilty heart. Fortunately. At this moment, Mr. Dong spoke up and said, child, I'm sending out this picture just to tell you that I didn't have any ill intentions yesterday, and I didn't intend to trick your design. I just wanted to give you some guidance based on your good talent. If possible, I really hope to take you as my disciple. Dong said truthfully. This is already his greatest sincerity. How did that sentence come from? Sincerity for sincerity. However, what he didn't know was that Chen Ming across from him was once again confused. What a mess. What, this picture is cracked and malicious, Mr. Dong drank too much. Wait, what happened yesterday? Chen Ming's face suddenly changed slightly when he remembered what Mr. Dong mentioned yesterday. Could it be that the design picture in front of him so? He asked with suspicion, Mr. Dong, have you reproduced it? Yes. Dong was very certain, when the design was created, I replicated it. Every time I made a card, it was a random triple ice cone, completely different. Boom. Chen Ming's mind roared. Reproduce. Surprisingly, it actually reproduced. At this point, Dong Lao sent some information, and Chen Ming glanced at it. It turned out that the other party was actually a master of research and development, who deduced complex advanced patterns. Random, using the most basic one-star pattern. And drew them onto the card, which gave rise to this neat and beautiful design. Real. Improved triple ice cone card. Chen Ming was completely shocked. So can it really be done? Is this the true value of being a research master? He is just relying on the random effects caused by lightning patterns, but he can reproduce design drawings that he cannot even create himself through hundreds of experiments. With this design, improving the triple ice cone card will completely belong to him. This Chen Ming's mouth is dry and his tongue is dry. Dong Lao is so powerful. This kind of kindness, is this what you restored? Chen Ming solemnly. Mr. Dong is very guilty. He and his wife have different majors. He is better at research and development, and his wife is more skilled in cracking fields. This card was also cracked by his wife. He really wants to agree. Unfortunately, the self-esteem of ARD card maker does not allow him to lie in this field. So, he sighed and said, "It was restored by Madam." "I see." Chen Ming exclaimed, "May I visit your wife?" Boom. Mr. Dong felt a roar in his mind, leaving only one thought echoing. It's over. My wife stole my house. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Younger Brother, Nouns. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Younger Brother, Nouns. That night, Chen Ming visited Mr. and Mrs. Dong in person and had in-depth discussions on improving the restoration of the triple ice cone card. Dong looked at me with a sour heart. Strange is not the taste. Clearly, I came first. Why did it turn out like this? Teacher Dong, Madam. Chen Ming also brought some things. You child. Mrs. Dong smiled and said, "Just come and bring anything else." It should be. Chen Mingqing thought to himself. He is truly grateful. Because Mrs. Dong brought him the real design. Unfortunately, after learning how to reproduce the real design, he realized that he would never be able to complete it, which requires a strong research and development background. It's better to outsource in the future. Sit down, child. Mrs. Dong brought tea and said, "You're here this time." I'm here to apologize. Chen Ming scratched his head. Apologize? Dong Lao was shocked. Yes, I really can't worship you as my teacher. Chen Ming smiled bitterly. Mr. Dong is so sincere to him that he should come to apologize in person no matter what. As for apprenticeship, he really can't apprentice. Mr. Dong now regards lightning patterns as Chen Ming's unique pattern, but once he delves deeper, he will inevitably doubt his card-making skills. Where should he go then? What should a teacher do if they discover the truth and have bad ideas? What if a teacher is extremely good and willing to protect him, but is implicated by his own monster aura? Therefore, Chen Ming pondered for a long time, and the best way was to maintain a distance. A teacher is a teacher. It's good to stay in the position of teacher and student. Dong Lao, actually I already have a master. The improvement of ice cone cards and pattern fonts was completed under the guidance of the teacher. Chen Ming said slowly. No wonder. Dong suddenly realized that many things had been explained in this way. I respect you very much, and I also admire you. Chen Ming felt a bit embarrassed. I'm sorry for the trouble caused to you. I don't know. Dong is very ashamed. This is his problem. He used to ask if there was a master, but this time. Who would have thought that a child who failed all 3 exams would have a master? What is your master's name? Dong Lao asked. After thinking for a moment, Chen Ming decided to find the name of a protagonist from a novel he had read before. My master's name is Lu Ming, and he always says he is an ordinary card maker. I'm not sure about the details and dare not ask, he said. You're being polite, teacher. Dong remembered this name in his heart. For a long time. The 3 teachers and students chatted for a moment before Chen Ming bid farewell and left. Mr. and Mrs. Dong were very thoughtful. Lu Ming. Is there this person in the circle? I haven't heard of it before, but I think you are another hidden card maker. However, I still want to ask, Madam, do you really have no intention of stealing from home? Disgusting, mine is not yours, what? The next day. Dormitory. Chen Ming looked carefully at the design in front of him. With the help of Mr. Dong, he used this card for authentication and has registered it as a completely independent card. The Arc Ice Cone card. The pattern certification is complete. The effect certification is completed. Chen Ming also had his first true work. Unfortunately, he cannot reproduce it himself. With his mental state and lightning patterns, drawing again would become chaotic, wouldn't it? After all, the triple ice cone card and lightning pattern have become the current curved ice cone card. So, what about curved ice cone cards and lightning patterns? Chen Ming is trying to make a card. Although it is highly likely to be positive and negative, it will eventually turn into a mess. Hiss, a stroke fell. A winding pattern appears. Sure enough. Chen Ming sighed. He can't expect himself to draw a straight line. Go ahead. He held the business card holder steadily. This card is very difficult. As an advanced card, the difficulty of this card far exceeds that of a triple ice cone card, with a total of 22 patterns for card making alone, and a high demand for mental energy. However, difficulty also has rare benefits. He can clearly feel the stimulation and enhancement of spiritual power during the drawing process. So this is the practice of a card maker. Chen Ming seemed lost in thought. It's like practicing exercises. Doing 2 simple questions is like drinking water, and doing too much is useless. However, tackling high challenges and calculations can significantly improve the level. The same goes for business card printing. The drawing and ultimate refining of difficult cards are necessary to rapidly enhance mental strength. So, Chen Ming's card making is becoming more serious. A stroke. 2 strokes. Only halfway through this time, he was already sweating profusely. In terms of pure card-making skills, he is not even as good as Zhao Hang, and can only rely on his perseverance to hold on, 1 or 2 strokes, until he can no longer hold on. Click. Production failed. Ha! Chen Ming collapsed on the chair. For a long time. He stood up again and came again. Brush. Brush. He fell down 1 stroke after another. The difficulty of this card exceeds his card-making level, which leads to him feeling strong mental stimulation and extreme training with every stroke he makes. For a long time. Card-making failed. Come on, failed. Come again. 1 day, 2 days. During these 3 days, Chen Ming has been undergoing high-intensity training. He has now reached the 19th transaction on this card, with only 3 transactions left until completion. However, although he did not complete the card printing process, the challenge of tackling this difficult card has greatly elevated his mental strength to a higher level. 68 percentage points. Chen Ming's face showed a smile. When the spiritual power reaches 100 percentage points, it reaches the overflowing state of first-level spiritual power, and one can try to be promoted to second-star spiritual power. As for the effect of this card, it's not important anymore. Unfortunately. Just as I was preparing to continue the explosive liver business card printing, all the remaining funds in my hand were finally exhausted. There's no money left. The Consciousness C repair card and triple ice cone design purchased in the past few days, as well as the high-intensity card making these days, have consumed all his savings. We need to go get some money. Chen Ming pondered. Working. Working is impossible. The workers in this world are not so easy to work for, it's too dangerous. Selling cards. The payment collection is too slow because due to the expansion of enrollment in the past few years, there are a large number of 1-star card makers, and even large-scale card making can only earn a hard money. As for friends, Chen Ming flipped through his contact list and suddenly stopped on a profile picture. His younger brother Chen Hao. Chen Ming paused for a moment. Family issues have always been something he wants to avoid. The host family has a good environment and is a standard family of 4. The parents are healthy, and the younger brother is both sensible and obedient, which can be considered a bonus. But every time the host mentions this younger brother, there is some comfort, envy, and jealousy. How to say it? My younger brother is a very good child. When he was a child, Chen Hao was often bullied by his classmates. It was Chen Ming who often came forward to help him fight and seek revenge, so he admired this brother very much. However, after going to school, Chen Hao showed extraordinary talent, winning various youth awards and competitions, and the prize money was soft. His future is limitless. What about his brother? Just an ordinary college student. Therefore, when applying to universities, in order to prove himself, he did not hesitate to choose to transfer and became a key university student. He was proud for a full summer vacation. In this small county town, he is also one of the rare talents who can be admitted to key universities. Who wouldn't praise the Chen family for their two geniuses? Unfortunately, he regretted going to school. He, who was supposed to become a professional card maker, was transferred to the RD major that requires the most talent, the most difficult graduation, and the most funding in the card-making college. Dropout. Impossible. Looking at my younger brother's admiring gaze. Are you saying that you wanted to take another major but didn't get accepted and was transferred to the RD major? So, Chen Ming didn't even dare to go home during the Chinese New Year. Afraid of losing face. As for the bonus sent by my younger brother, I dare not use it. Even though he is so poor that he needs to sew jeans and make card bags, and his daily account balance does not exceed 3 digits, he will never use the money given by his younger brother. This is his pride as a genius. It is also his last dignity as a brother. Of course. Another more realistic thing is that I couldn't drop out. I had already set up seats in my hometown county seat at that time. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Research Fields. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Research Fields. At this point, Chen Ming clicked on the message bar. The issue of the original family is always something to face. However, the news sent by his younger brother Chen Hao far exceeded his expectations. Brother, how are you at school? Brother, I got first place again. This is the school scholarship. I'll send you a portion of it. Don't tell my mom, otherwise I'll get beaten again. Brother, this is my prize money for participating in the Youth Rookie Cup. I'll transfer half of it to you. Don't tell mom. Brother, it's been a long time since you came back. Will you come back for the Chinese New Year? Brother. Chatting hundreds of messages and several transfers. The host didn't even look at it and didn't dare to claim it. Inferiority complex. Tisk. Chen Ming shook his head. The young man has a strong sense of self-esteem. Love face. At first glance, it seems that there is a lack of social beating. If he, like himself, has been struggling in society for a few years, he will naturally become mentally strong. So. Chen Ming simply clicked once. Ding. Transfer successfully received. Ding. Transfer successfully received. Ding. Transfer successfully received. The starting capital is really important. Nowadays, no matter what you do, you need money. It's better to use it to enhance your strength than to compromise with your two brothers. And at this moment, the light screen flickered, and my younger brother called. Brother. The excited voice of the younger brother came. Brother, is it really you? Chen Ming smiled slightly and said, practice well, brother is waiting for you in the Star City. Received. My younger brother is too excited to control himself. This is the most time my brother has replied to himself in recent years. However, my brother never takes his own money. Brother, have you encountered any difficulties? My younger brother is very smart. Do you want me to transfer more money to you? I still have a lot of pocket money. Oh, I've grown up. Chen Ming's heart warmed. What are you saying the host is struggling with? What a good child this younger brother is. What is there to be unsatisfied with having such a younger brother and family when he comes to a strange world? He needs to be a good role model as a brother. So. Chen Ming smiled slightly and said, it's possible. Okay. My younger brother is very happy and has transferred all the pocket money he has saved over the past few years. Chen Ming was shocked, he really turned around. This child great. You little brother, I have confirmed it. And at this point, Chen Ming also remembered his younger brother's genius identity. He remembers that his younger brother was taken as an apprentice by a powerful senior, so the big shots and personal experiences he usually comes into contact with should far exceed his own, perhaps knowing some things about the sea of consciousness. So. Chen Ming's expression was solemn and he whispered, "Brother, have you ever heard of a person dying inside a human body?" What? My younger brother's face changed greatly. Wait a minute. Having died before brother who suddenly needs money, brother, are you pregnant? My younger brother instinctively said, and immediately realized the problem. No, brother, you're pregnant with a sister. In law. No, brother, when did you have a sister? In law. What? Chen Ming's face turned black. Take a look and see which of your 3 sentences is correct. What are you thinking? Chen Ming said angrily, I'm referring to consciousness, it's about cultivation. Oh. I don't quite understand. My younger brother was clearly disappointed. I remember my master mentioned before that the sea of consciousness is too profound, and usually only a research card maker team will study this aspect. Okay. Chen Ming sighed. That's also right. No matter how talented my younger brother is, he is also a child at this age. It is precisely when raising flags and paying respects every day that children probably cannot talk about anything else. For a long time. The 2 brothers finished chatting and hung up the phone. Chen Ming thought for a moment and wrote the words, scientific card maker, in the search box. Brush. Pop up a bunch of data. The card industry has 3 major areas. In the field of card making, pure card making technology. In the field of research and development, the creation, improvement, and design of cards. In the field of scientific research, truly in-depth research, challenging limits, breaking through history, and creating the impossible. In the field of scientific research, someone studies the continuation of life. Someone studies the shuttle of time. Someone is studying digital life. Naturally, there are also people studying the mysteries of the sea of consciousness. So, the answer Chen Ming wants is here. As long as he becomes a research card maker, he can solve the problem of consciousness sea he wants to solve. It's a good thing that the sea of consciousness evil mansion can mutate cards. But it's also very dangerous. For example, perhaps due to the leakage of the demon aura of the golden giant, he was annihilated by the boss. It's also possible to be approached by the mysterious man and woman to silence. Wait a minute. This is all Chen Ming's concern. So, the matter of the sea of consciousness evil mansion must be resolved. It is best to have complete control over the sea of consciousness, retain the characteristics of variation, and not be detected. It's like a tomb. When he needs to make cards normally, he buries the golden giant and weapons in the grave. When he needs lightning patterns, dig this guy and weapon out of the grave to see. No problem. Can a research card maker who studies the sea of consciousness achieve this? Therefore, he clarified his goal and became a research card maker. So how to become a research card maker? He flipped through the information online and found that the minimum standard for almost all research teams is an expert-level RD certificate because the content in the scientific research field is quite profound. Only by obtaining an expert-level RD certificate from the RD Association can one be qualified to further pursue deeper fields. After all, if the foundation is too weak, it is also impossible to complete scientific research work. As for this certificate, he remembers that the registration for the RD qualification certificate is for beginner, intermediate, advanced, expert. Although there are no restrictions on the RD qualification certificate, so far the lowest level record of the RD Association is a Samsung card maker. And this is the only one. Most people only get this certificate from a 4-star card maker. Chen Ming pondered for a moment, then let's set a small goal first. So, his current goal has changed to 1. Successfully graduated. 2. Find a suitable job. 3. 4-star card maker. Of course. The 4 stars are too far away, so he plans to sprint to the 2 stars first. So, Chen Ming went out to purchase blank cards for cultivation. It has been several days since the defense, so the impact of full marks should have passed, right? However, as soon as he walked out of the campus, he saw some unfamiliar students warmly greeting him. "Hey, brother Kwangkeo." What? Chen Ming's face turned black. Why hasn't this mess passed yet? He secretly thought something was wrong and opened the school forum to take a look, suddenly shocked. He is angry again. Due to the fact that the graduation thesis defense received full marks, the popularity skyrocketed. The incident where he defeated Zhang Yuntian in the Research and Development Center a few days ago was dug up by the students again, and the situation became more and more chaotic. Someone said he made a card and killed Zhang Yuntian. Some people say he is the hidden ace of the school. Some people say that the RD major is in the hang printing and card making industry. Do you want to kill me? Chen Ming realized the problem. The heat hasn't decreased for so long, it seems that someone is causing trouble in the dark. It's Zhang Yuntian. Lu Xiaofeng's expression was strange. He said on the school forum that after being defeated by you, he deeply understands the size of the world, the strength of research and development, and is convinced to lose. Zhang Yuntian. Chen Ming was shocked. He thought this guy would shout, "Don't leave after school," and then lead a group of people to block him at the school gate. Who would have thought that this guy was actually praising him? This old silver coin in just a few words, it may seem like praising him, but in reality, it's just grilling him over the fire. It's estimated that all the hatred in the business card printing system has been brought over. This person is well versed in the study of thick black. It seems we still need to avoid the limelight. Chen Ming thought so. He's just about to graduate, and he's too lazy to argue. After the defense of majors is completed and the graduation ceremony is over, who knows who? However, at this point, what do you think about Chen Ming defeating Zhang Yuntian? Said someone from the student union who went to the RD center for an interview. It's exaggerated. Lu Xiaofeng replied cautiously, last time it was just a normal card battle, and no one beat anyone. Chen Gu failed 3 subjects and is currently preparing for a makeup exam. That night. Title of the school forum. RD department threatens that even students who fail 3 subjects can still beat Zhang Yuntian. Lu Xiaofeng. Chen Ming. The two exchanged a glance and looked at each other. Very good. You know how to conduct interviews. At this point, the students in the card-making department have a broken mentality. Who is Zhang Yuntian? No matter what his personality is, his strength is solid. A card maker with excellent professional skills can also be considered a genius-level person. What is the result? Can students who have passed 3 subjects in the RD department also be promoted? Who can bear this? So, only half a day. An official challenge letter from the Combat Card Making Department was hung on the campus bulletin board. Combat Card Making professional Zhou Zhengyuan officially launched a challenge to the RD department. Professional duel. The war has spread to 2 departments. Is the business card printing system challenging someone else's research and development department? Isn't this bullying people? No, as stated in the challenge book, in order to take care of the RD department, He will also abide by the R&D department's challenge rules and use his amateur-developed cards. Amateur. R&D. Why do you feel more bullied even after making concessions? The students are discussing extensively. Brother Chen. Zhao Heng's expression was solemn. I'm afraid it might be a bit troublesome this time. Yeah. Chen Ming thought deeply. I don't know if Lin Quan can handle it. What? Zhao Heng looked bewildered and asked, Lin Quan. Wait a minute. Why is Lin Quan? That's right. They are challenging the entire R&D department. Chen Mingli naturally said, he is the first in the R&D department. I am a salted fish with 3 subjects, where can I represent the R&D department? Sigh. Zhao Heng pondered for a moment, then patted his thigh. Chen Ji's words made sense. End of this chapter.